What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. For the final time in the regular season, I am talking Pittsburgh Steelers Weekly Review. This was the Week 17 game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns for really no consequence. There wasn't much to do here, not much to talk about, so I'm going to make this one really quick. Again, Happy New Year, guys. I am filming this on New Year's Day, so hopefully you guys had a nice, safe, happy New Year's Eve. You didn't overindulge, you got home safely, and you are enjoying pork or whatever you guys eat on New Year's Day. I had Chinese food. It was delicious. But again, this game had no consequence. Pittsburgh already coming into the day was 10-5 and had wrapped up the AFC North title in the third seed already, so there was nothing to play for them. They already were locked in, win or lose, to the third seed in the playoffs. And the Browns, of course, are coming in 1-14, so they had nothing to play for except a spoiler anyway. So no consequence to this game. So Pittsburgh did not play their starters in this game. Ben, Brown, Bell all sat out. It was mostly the backups on offense. I think Pouncey also did not play in this game. He sat out. Ladarius Green, coming off injury, did not play in this game. So it was mostly just backups on offense. Oddly enough, a lot of the starters on defense did play. It was mostly, if not all, the starters, and they didn't play all that well, to be honest, which is kind of scary. End result of this game, Pittsburgh does get the 27-24 victory in overtime, improving their record for the season to 11-5. Give me 1 second to gloat here, because I did say 7 weeks ago, I did predict that Pittsburgh would finish after losing 4 in a row. Things were looking down for the Steelers. They were behind in the division. They had lost 4 straight. But I said, have no fear, relax, as Aaron Rodgers would say. I predicted us to win 7 games in a row to finish the season, and go 7-0 to finish 11-5 and win the division. And alas, out of my 7 predictions, I was 7 for 7. I went undefeated. As I thought, Pittsburgh did go 7-0 here. And I'm not going to lie, this was the game that was most in jeopardy, because Pittsburgh didn't play their starters and had no reason to win, but they came out and won anyway. So, again, just a brief rundown of the game. RG3 is back in for the Browns. They get up to a quick 14-0 lead. Doesn't look too good for the Steelers. They're kind of just sleeping. No one's doing anything on offense at all. The defense is not tackling, which is alarming because, again, the starters were out there on defense for the most part. So they were letting a lot of Browns break some tackles. Wasn't much to speak of. Really about the, I think the halftime score was 14-7. End of the third quarter, into the beginning of the fourth is when the Steelers finally started driving. Landry Jones did come down and start to really get things going. Pittsburgh came back from 14-0, scored eventually 21 consecutive points, 3 straight touchdowns to come back and take the lead before allowing a Cleveland tying touchdown and going to overtime. The Browns should have won this game. There's a lot of fluky Cleveland Browns stuff that happened here that only happens to the Browns. My goodness. What a bad team. What a bad situation. What a poor city. A couple of times. For example, one Landry Jones interception was picked off by Bodie Calhoun and taken back about 60 yards or so. I didn't write any stats down for this game because it doesn't really matter. But Bodie Calhoun did take a Landry Jones interception about 60 yards back to the end zone. And Darius Hayward-Bay actually strips the ball out of Bodie Calhoun's hands at the 1 yard line as Bodie Calhoun extends for the end zone to score the touchdown. The ball gets stripped out of his hands and rolls out of the side of the end zone, meaning that the interception didn't really even matter. It was a touchback for the Steelers, so the turnover didn't really count. It counted, but it didn't amount to anything. So the big return to the end zone gets rolled back in the end zone, and Cleveland loses a sure 7 points. Another time, pardon my voice, I'm losing it from last night screaming at the ball dropping, but another time, they were down inside the 10-yard line, and RG3 throws a bad interception to Ryan Shazier. It takes off at least 3, if not 7 points off the board for the Browns there. And then, at the end of the game, finally, Cleveland has the ball. The game's tied 21-21, and Isaiah Crowell breaks like a 60-some yard run, excellent run, to get them down like inside the 5-yard line. And all they have to do is kneel on the ball and kick a field goal to win the game. There's like a minute left. There's no time. They're down at the 5. All they got to do is fall on the ball and just let the kicker win the game for them. And they run the ball, and I think it was Crowell fumbles the ball. Jarvis Jones pokes it out, and Pittsburgh regains the ball. So that's another set of points, probably the game-winning set of points that Pittsburgh takes back from Cleveland. So Cleveland just 3 turnovers in the red zone, 3 turnovers inside the 5-yard line, really costing them big points. So Pittsburgh, they go to overtime. Landry Jones gets the winning touchdown to make the game 27-24. Cleveland goes to 1-15, get the first pick in the draft. Pittsburgh goes to 11-5, gets that 3 seed, and we are playing the Miami Dolphins next week. The Dolphins did beat us several weeks back, but with a healthy team right now and a different team right now, Pittsburgh winning 7 in a row, plus Miami not having Ryan Tannehill for next week, I'm pretty sure the Steelers will take that game. Miami is not a better team than Pittsburgh with Tannehill, let alone without Tannehill. So, despite Jay Ajayi running for 200 yards on us last time, I hope our defense is going to be a little more stout, and I predict Pittsburgh to win that game next week. Time is not yet known. It could be Saturday, it could be Sunday, we don't know, but I will have a review for you guys next week. Briefly in this game, Landry Jones did throw for like 277. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Wound up being very, very good. Once the mid-third quarter hit, he had 2 really good drives plus the overtime drive. So overall, very good job for Landry. One of his better performances being a Steeler. I'm not a fan of Landry, but he played very well today in the second half once the mid-third quarter point came along. D'Angelo Williams did score on a receiving touchdown. DeMarcus Ayers played really well. He had 5 catches for like 44 yards. 2 other ones were called back. One was on a penalty, and one was on having his foot just out of bounds on a reversed call. But had 5 catches, had a touchdown to go ahead and initially put us up in the game on a really nice drag route that he ran in. Broke a few tackles. He had a couple of those sideline catches that were called back. The one didn't count. But he showed really good hands here. He did have one big drop across the middle. But all in all, he had 5 catches plus a few other ones that he had that were taken back. So I was impressed. In DeMarcus Ayers' second game, he's been a big target. He also got a pass interference in the end zone called in his favor. So that's the second week in a row that he's gotten a holding in the end zone against him. So he's been a big target. He's been a goal line guy. He's been getting some good drag routes and taking them for distance. So he's got some speed, and his hands are pretty good overall so far. He's played pretty well. Kobe Hamilton got the game-winning touchdown on a nice deep throw. I think he had about 3 catches today. He looked pretty solid overall. He did have 1 drop. Darius Hayward-Bay was back for the first time in like 7 or 8 weeks, if not more. I'm not a big fan of his, but he did have a nice like 44-yard catch on a deep ball. He's a good deep target. The one thing he is good at is running deep routes. He just runs goes all the time, and just he did make a nice catch today. Eli Rogers was the leader receiving for us today. Played really well. I think he had like 5 catches for like 65 yards, something like that. He played really well overall. He's something to watch. He's going to be a guy that I could see doing some good things in the playoffs, since Antonio Brown's going to command so much attention here. So overall, D'Angelo Williams I think had 60 or 70 yards. Nothing special. 3.2 yards per carry, something like that, if not less. But played okay. The offense played okay. Scored 27. On defense, the standout guys, Jarvis Jones, back from injury, played really well today. He's a confusing guy to figure out what to do with him, because he came in, every time he comes in healthy, he comes in on fire at the start of the season. Then he gets hurt, comes back. He came back today, losing his starting job, but did come back in, played as a backup, and played well. He got the game-saving forced fumble for us. He also got a sack in this game as well, and he got another tackle that was crucial as well. So he played really well today. So I have no idea. I assume this is his last year in Pittsburgh. I think he's gone after this, but I wouldn't be surprised if he stays. I still like the guy. I don't know what to make of him. The rest of our guys we sort of have figured out. He's the one guy where he's just inconsistent. He's never on the field, but when he is a big difference maker. So I don't know what to make of Jarvis Jones. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments down below. I do like the guy. Also, Ryan Shazier, second week in a row with an interception. He led the team in tackles again today with 5. Lawrence Timmons was up there in tackles. I think he had 4 tackles. He played well again today, as per usual. Sean Davis had a forced fumble and a sack today. He's been on fire lately. He's just a ball hawk, and he's always around the ball. He's a good blitzer. He's good off the edge. He's good at deflecting balls and playing safety. He's good at reading defenses and jumping routes. Artie Burns jumped a few routes today, batted a few balls. He played pretty well. All in all, a couple of guys stood out there. So that's pretty much the game. 11-5, Pittsburgh wins. They go on to play at home against Miami next week, which I predict the Pittsburgh win. So what do you guys think? What do you think of the matchup with Miami next week? Do you think we're going to come back fully healthy and come back on fire, or we're going to play down to the Dolphins' level? What do you think about, again, Jarvis Jones? What does he do next year? DeMarcus Ayers, is he for real? What do you guys think of Ayers? Eli Rogers, is he going to be lost in the shuffle next year when we get Marcus Whedon and Martavis Bryant back, or is he going to be a standout guy next year? Tell me all these things in the comments down below. Give me your impressions of this game and of next week. And for the end of the regular season, guys, this has been Football Focus. I am Jason Burke, and I will see you guys next week for the playoffs.